Caitlin Clark spent 20 minutes signing autographs. She made her way 2/3 of the arena. She signed literally hundreds of autographs. She signed hundreds of autographs. And if you guys didn't see that game today, there were as many Fever fans as there were Sky fans.
Because it looked like Caitlin Clark went to Chicago and took the city over. It looked like she took the city over.
People are showing up just to witness Caitlin Clark. It's like she's the damn Beatles.
Angel, pray up. Me bound Reese, I hope you listening. It looks like that line was for my precious CC. How she pulled up in your trap.
Remember that embarrassing Reebok campaign where Angel Reese tried to get cute with the whole come to your trap, take over your trap nonsense during All-Star Weekend in Indianapolis? Well, congratulations, Angel, because Caitlin Clark just walked into your trap and completely took it over in the most humiliating way possible while you conveniently disappeared with another mysterious injury.
Now, see, this the real version of walking your trap and take over your trap. Look at this. Look at that. All them jerseys. I would hate Caitlin too. And I wasn't even aware. Wasn't this supposed to be Barbie night or something? Come on, Caitlin walked in and took over. And she didn't even play.
So Caitlin Clark is not playing the game. And like, by the way, like, people didn't know whether or not Caitlin was playing that game until the very end. There are hundreds of fans that were there to see Caitlin Clark play on the off chance Caitlin Clark would be able to sign something. She was there. She spent like 20 minutes autographing everything.
What happened to Miss Angel Reese? She's all in Indiana during All-Star and her Reebok campaign, come to your trap, take over your trap.
I think this is what means when you walk into your trap and take over. She in your city. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I forgot about that tweet. Walk in your trap, take over your trap. I just realized that. I'm like, oh my God, there's no way they came out with that.
The irony is so perfect, it almost feels scripted. Watching Clark create absolute pandemonium in Chicago while Reese hides at home with a convenient back issue that nobody actually believes is keeping her out of meaningful games. We're talking about Clark generating Beatles-level hysteria outside the United Center, signing over 200 autographs for fans who treated her like basketball royalty, while Reese posts cryptic social media content from her couch during what should have been a showcase moment for her home market. The trap has officially been taken over and is not even close to being competitive because real stars show up when it matters, while fake ones find creative ways to avoid situations where their limitations might get exposed on live television. If you're witnessing this incredible display of real star power in action, smash that like button and comment Clark Fever, because what happened next proves exactly why business decisions get made based on authentic talent rather than social media engagement metrics.
Caitlin Clark took over Chicago. She signed autographs for hours. This wasn't no extras that was paid to come stand in the scene. No, these were real people trying to get autographs.
She understands the responsibility of being the face of the league. And I don't necessarily know if she wants it, but she understands it.
Who the biggest superstar? I'm waiting.
Come on, man. Come on, man. I don't know how you could ever imagine, like, how can you compete with this? How, like, come on, just leave it alone, Angel. And this is why I'm saying you be making yourself look crazy because in all actuality, there's no comparison between you guys.
The visual contrast couldn't be more brutal if someone specifically designed it to embarrass an entire organization, with Clark spending hours connecting with fans who genuinely adore her, while the supposed hometown hero becomes invisible right when her team needs leadership most. This is what happens when you try to attach yourself to someone else's success instead of building your own legitimate brand, because eventually reality comes calling and exposes the difference between authentic greatness and carefully manufactured relevance through marketing campaigns.
I actually feel bad for Angel Reese at this point, and it has nothing to do with like how she's handled herself or anything. It's just simply Caitlin Clark is so much better than Angel Reese at basketball that it doesn't feel fair.
Yeah, I think Angel Reese is struggling with the fact that Caitlin Clark is better at her best thing than she is.
She's better at everything.
And
she had a triple-double.
Yeah.
She's tied for the third most triple-doubles in WNBA history, and she's played 50 games.
Yeah.
She's just better.
This is why I say, Angel Reese, you need to stop trying to attach yourself to this girl at every turn, because you cannot measure up. You don't have as many followers you have on Instagram. That is great. I will not take away from the fact that you are one of the bigger brands in the WNBA. You are a star in your own right, but you are not Caitlin Clark. It's a difference. It's a difference from De'Aaron Fox being at the All-Star game and Steph Curry being there. It's a difference. I'm sorry, it just is. You need to stop trying to attach yourself to this girl at every turn, because she has officially come to your trap and taken over your trap. Look at all of the fans coming from all over.
This is what you call real results. This is real life. Caitlin on a away game to somebody y'all think is on her level, she walks in and take over. And it's outstanding. I'm pretty sure it was more people there for Caitlin than it was for anybody on Chicago team. See, online, you would think that the person on the other side, the person on Chicago, could even come close to Caitlin. And when in reality, they can't.
The fact that Clark can generate this kind of excitement and fan engagement while injured demonstrates exactly why some players command premium treatment and opportunities while others struggle to maintain relevance despite similar statistical production in certain areas. But while Clark was busy proving her incredible connection with fans outside the arena, her teammates were preparing to deliver their own statement about what this organization represents when it's time to compete. Kelsey Mitchell stepped onto the United Center court and immediately announced her intentions by launching three-pointers from every conceivable angle, finishing with a spectacular 35-point performance that included 7 successful attempts from beyond the arc.
Money Mitch put him in a ditch, and Michaela Timpson treating the Chicago Sky like a bunch of Simpsons. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Might be scorching hot right now. You have been so good on the road lately. 6 straight games, 24 points a game. How are you off to another hot start in a hostile environment?
I think about just staying in rhythm. And when I stay in rhythm, about being aggressive. So as long as I'm aggressive and being myself, they make it easier for me.
This wasn't just efficient shooting. This was Mitchell putting on an absolute clinic in shot making while turning a hostile environment into her personal showcase, despite playing without the team's primary offensive weapon. Mitchell's performance was particularly meaningful because it demonstrated that the Indiana Fever possessed legitimate depth and multiple players capable of carrying significant offensive responsibilities when Caitlin Clark isn't available to create defensive chaos. The confidence and aggression Mitchell displayed on every possession showed a player who completely understood the magnitude of this moment and refused to let her team lose a highly winnable game in an environment where they were expected to struggle without their superstar.
Kelsey Mitchell, 7 for 10 from the three-point line off the start, 8 points quick. You knew, oh, Kelsey Mitchell's hot today. Oh, Kelsey Mitchell's hot today. This might be her game. Let's keep the hot hand in. Let's keep the hot hand going. Let's set her some big body screens, get her open. Kelsey Mitchell, she did it all. 7 for 10 from the three-point line. She got to the rack. She got to the free throw line, carving up the defense, looking like a little snake, how she just slithers in and out of that defense. Kelsey Mitchell, salute to you.
She lit them up. I mean, she was on fire. On fire. She couldn't miss. I mean, everything was in the flow of the offense. Effortless, man. We got to give love to Kelsey Mitchell. 12 of 19 from the floor, 7 of 10 from 3, 35 points. Straight stirring the pot. Stirring the pot. She was cooking their ass today. Kelsey Mitchell was on one. She was on one. She was a plus 25 for the game. The Chicago Sky are a flat out joke. This team is terrible.
And Kelsey Mitchell had a gargantuan game. Of course, Stephanie White, instead of letting her roll, took her out of the game. I don't understand what the deal is with that. I really don't.
Aaliyah Boston contributed 14 points and 11 rebounds while establishing complete control in the paint, making life absolutely miserable for Chicago's front court players who had no effective answers for her combination of size, athleticism, and basketball intelligence. Ari McDonald provided 10 crucial points off the bench, continuing her remarkable story of stepping up whenever this organization needs unexpected production from role players who weren't even on the roster when the season began. The most impressive element of this performance was how comprehensive and professional it appeared from opening tip to final buzzer, with Indiana building comfortable leads and systematically extending them every time Chicago attempted to create momentum or establish any kind of competitive rhythm.
Aaliyah Boston, she had a solid game, 14 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, only 3 turnovers, a plus 15 on the court, 5 for 9 from the field. She shot efficiently, and 2 steals, 2 blocks as well. So defensively, she did what she needed to do. I think they might have robbed her 1 assist. I think she really had 7 assists. They kept talking about it on the broadcast.
Chloe Bibby made her introduction to the Indiana Fever today right after getting picked up 8 points in 10 minutes and 48 seconds. She outscored Natasha Howard, who only played 12 minutes.
Ari McDonald, 10 points, 4 for 8 from the field, 4 assists, 4 turnovers. Ari McDonald, it wasn't bad. It wasn't good, but it wasn't bad. Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston and Michaela Timpson really put in the work today.
The final score of 93-78 doesn't even adequately reflect how thoroughly outclassed Chicago looked throughout this contest, as the Fever controlled virtually every meaningful statistical category while making this game feel significantly more lopsided than the 15-point margin suggests. This kind of road performance without your best player is exactly what championship contending organizations accomplish against inferior competition, proving they have the talent depth and mental toughness necessary to handle business regardless of who's available on any particular night. What makes this victory even more impressive is how it came against a team that was supposed to be motivated by playing at home with their season essentially on the line, yet they looked completely unprepared for Indiana's intensity and execution from the opening tip. The Fever shot an incredible 48% from three-point range while holding Chicago to just 31% from beyond the arc, creating exactly the kind of statistical disparity that turns competitive games into comfortable victories. Sophie Cunningham added another layer of production with 12 points and 7 rebounds, continuing her emergence as one of the most reliable role players in the entire league, while providing the kind of versatile contributions that championship teams need from their supporting cast. The bench production was particularly encouraging, with players like Michaela Timpson and Lexi Hall stepping up to provide meaningful minutes and keeping the rotation fresh throughout the game. This depth allows coach Stephanie White to manage playing time effectively while maintaining competitive intensity, which becomes crucial during the demanding playoff schedule when games come every other day. The defensive effort was equally impressive, as Indiana forced 17 turnovers while limiting Chicago to just 41% shooting from the field, showing exactly the kind of collective commitment that separates good teams from great ones when the stakes get higher. Chicago's recent struggles extend far beyond just this single embarrassing loss, as they've now dropped 4 consecutive games while dealing with a mounting list of injuries and roster complications that have completely derailed what many expected to be a competitive season. The Sky entered this matchup with legitimate questions about their coaching stability, roster construction, and overall organizational direction after a series of disappointing performances that have left them fighting for basic respectability rather than playoff positioning. Their inability to compete effectively at home against a shorthanded Indiana team raises serious concerns about the fundamental talent level and competitive spirit within their locker room, especially considering how much talent and potential this roster was supposed to possess entering the season. The coaching situation has become particularly problematic, with visible frustration from players and questionable strategic decisions that have contributed to their recent slide down the standings. Chicago's front office faces difficult decisions about whether to make significant changes during the season or continue hoping that health and chemistry improvements can salvage what's left of their championship aspirations. The contrast with Indiana's organizational stability and clear strategic direction couldn't be more obvious as the Fever continue building something sustainable while the Sky appear to be stuck in reactive mode without a coherent plan for addressing their mounting problems. This loss represents more than just another disappointing result. It's becoming symbolic of larger institutional issues that need immediate attention if Chicago wants to remain relevant in an increasingly competitive league environment. The psychological impact of this kind of comprehensive defeat at home cannot be underestimated, especially when it comes against a division rival that was missing their best player and still managed to control every aspect of the game from start to finish. When you examine the underlying metrics from this contest, the story becomes even more damning for Chicago's long-term prospects and organizational competence. The Sky were out-rebounded 42-35 despite having what many consider superior size and athleticism in their front court rotation, which speaks to effort level and fundamental basketball execution rather than talent deficiencies. Indiana's ball movement was crisp and purposeful throughout the game, recording 24 assists on 34 made field goals, while Chicago managed just 16 assists on their 29 successful shots, showing exactly the kind of unselfish play that creates sustainable offensive success. The turnover differential was equally telling, with the Fever protecting the basketball much better while forcing Chicago into rushed decisions and poor shot selection that led to easy transition opportunities. These kinds of fundamental basketball metrics don't lie about which team was better prepared and more committed to executing their game plan at a professional level. The three-point shooting disparity becomes even more significant when you consider that Chicago actually attempted more shots from beyond the arc but couldn't convert at anywhere near Indiana's efficiency rate, suggesting better shot selection and offensive flow from the visiting team. Indiana's defensive rotations were noticeably sharper throughout the contest, with players communicating effectively and helping at the right moments, while Chicago's defense often looked confused and out of position during crucial possessions. The rebounding advantage for Indiana becomes more impressive when you realize they were playing smaller lineups for significant portions of the game, relying on effort and positioning rather than pure size to control the glass on both ends. These performance indicators suggest systemic problems within Chicago's program that extend far beyond individual player health or temporary shooting slumps, pointing toward deeper issues with preparation and competitive mentality. The depth and professionalism Indiana displayed during this performance should have every other WNBA team absolutely concerned about their championship prospects once Caitlin Clark returns to full health and availability. We're looking at an organization that just traveled to a hostile environment and systematically dismantled a division rival by 15 points while missing their most important player, which is exactly the kind of collective talent and mental toughness that separates legitimate title contenders from teams that rely too heavily on individual brilliance. The playoff implications of this victory are enormous, as the Fever continue building separation from struggling teams like Chicago while positioning themselves for favorable postseason matchups when the games become more meaningful and competitive. This performance also sends a clear message throughout the league that Indiana possesses the organizational depth and championship culture necessary to make serious noise in the playoffs regardless of injury, situations, or roster availability on any given night. When Clark eventually returns from her groin injury, she'll be rejoining a team that just proved they can handle elite competition without her, which means opposing defenses won't be able to focus exclusively on stopping her anymore without leaving other dangerous players in favorable situations. The combination of individual talent, team chemistry, and organizational stability is exactly what championship organizations look like when everything comes together at the highest level of professional competition. What's particularly encouraging about this victory is how it demonstrates that Indiana's success isn't dependent on Clark playing at a superhuman level every single night, but rather on a sustainable system that allows multiple players to contribute meaningfully when their opportunities arise. The young players on this roster have gained invaluable experience during Clark's absence, learning how to perform under pressure and contribute to winning basketball in ways that will pay dividends throughout the rest of the season and into the playoffs. Kelsey Mitchell's evolution into a legitimate second scoring option gives this team the kind of offensive versatility that creates matchup problems for opposing defenses, while Aaliyah Boston's continued development as a two-way force provides the interior presence necessary for championship-level success. The role players have embraced their responsibilities and shown they can step up in crucial moments, creating exactly the kind of depth that allows teams to weather the inevitable injuries and adversity that come with long playoff runs. Coach Stephanie White deserves enormous credit for maintaining team chemistry and competitive focus during what could have been a difficult period without their franchise player, proving she has the leadership skills necessary to guide this organization towards sustained success. The way White has managed rotations and kept everyone engaged speaks to her understanding of team psychology and her ability to maximize the talent available to her on any given night. Her tactical adjustments throughout this game were particularly impressive, making the right substitutions at crucial moments and putting players in positions where they could succeed while maintaining the aggressive tempo that has become Indiana's trademark. White's post-game comments about the team's collective effort and unselfish play demonstrate exactly the kind of leadership mentality that championship organizations need from their coaching staff during challenging circumstances. The strategic decision to push the pace early and often created exactly the kind of tempo that favored Indiana's athletic advantages while putting Chicago in uncomfortable situations where they couldn't establish any kind of offensive rhythm. These coaching decisions don't always show up in traditional statistics, but they create the foundation for the kind of comprehensive victories that build long-term confidence and competitive identity within successful programs. The cultural shift within this organization has been remarkable to witness, transforming from a team that struggled with consistency and mental toughness into a group that genuinely believes they can compete with anyone regardless of circumstances. This transformation didn't happen overnight, but rather through months of consistent messaging and reinforcement of professional standards that have created accountability throughout the entire roster. Players are now holding each other to higher standards during practice and games, creating exactly the kind of internal competition and mutual support that championship teams require. The leadership from veteran players like Kelsey Mitchell has been crucial during this development process, showing younger teammates what it means to perform under pressure while maintaining the kind of preparation and professionalism that separates elite organizations from mediocre ones. At the end of the day, what we witnessed in Chicago represents the final chapter of this manufactured rivalry that was never actually competitive from the beginning. You had Caitlin Clark creating genuine pandemonium while injured and unable to play, demonstrating the kind of authentic star power that transcends basketball performance, while Angel Reese conveniently disappeared with another perfectly timed injury that allowed her to avoid potential embarrassment. The business reality that Ice Cube articulated so perfectly removes all emotion and personal feelings from this discussion, focusing instead on measurable market value and genuine fan engagement that can't be faked or manufactured through social media campaigns. Clark's ability to take over entire cities without even playing basketball is exactly the kind of transcendent talent that changes organizations and elevates everyone around her to higher levels of performance and expectation. Meanwhile, we continue watching other players find creative ways to avoid situations where their limitations might become obvious, which tells you everything about who possesses the competitive mindset necessary for sustained success at the professional level. The financial gap between these players is massive and growing larger every single day, which explains why we see such dramatically different treatment and opportunities despite similar statistical production in certain categories. This was never really a rivalry in the traditional sense. It was always one legitimate superstar and one player attempting to attach herself to that success for personal gain and increased visibility. The trap has officially been taken over. The city belongs to Clark, and the manufactured drama has been permanently ended by the kind of authentic star power that can't be argued with or explained away through clever marketing strategies.